So are you ready for Kenny Baker?
Oh,
Say
yes,
yes.
we asked.
Okay, Kenny Baker. You're doing a fashion show, aren't you, Kenny?
Thank you, Brian. No, I'll sit, I'll stay. I'm standing up. Where are we? Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
How are you? All right? Good. Are you enjoying the show? Good. It's a good show, and it's great. I was here at about 9 o'clock. There was nobody here. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a disaster today, you know. I thought, I can't see many people showing up, and everybody's showing up. Marvellous. So, what do you want me to do? I can't sing, I can't dance, and I didn't bring my mouth organ with me. So the best thing to do is ask if you've got any questions. And what we really could do with is a microphone in the audience. Have you got one in the audience? A mic? For the questions? Well, we won't be able to hear what they're saying. Anyway, has anybody got any questions? No, right, that's easy then, isn't it? Well, you probably can't notice, but I come from Birmingham originally. Oh! Yo, Broomies down here. Yes, I was born in Shirley. It's on the Stratford Road. And then we moved, well, I went to school in Cheltenham, first of all in Cheltenham, then in Gloucestershire. And then just after that, we moved to London. I was in London, then I was in boarding school in Sevenoaks in Kent. That was just at the end of the war, really. Then the war finished. I came out of school about in 1950, and I didn't know what to do. So I thought, and I met somebody in the street in Hastings on the south coast. And she said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know, I just left school. So she said, well, join the show. She was in a midget review. That's on stage in theatres. This is in 1950. So she said, are you going to see the show? And I said, yes. So I went to the show. And she said, come round to see the boss. So I went round to see the boss with Burton Lester, who was the brother of Harry Lester and his Hayseeds. There was another band of musicians, Americans, basically. Anyway, Burton Lester said, what are you doing? I said, I don't know what to do, really. What can you do? I said, I can roller skate, I can ride a bike, I can whistle. So I got into the show. And I went into this show for about 3 years, touring all over the country, England, Scotland, Ireland and Wales. Went everywhere, travelled every Sunday, did the show from Monday to Saturday, travelled on the Sunday. And that lasted 3 years. And then I got into an ice show in Norwich. And from the ice show in Norwich, I met the ice skaters, who then put me in touch with Blackpool Ice Show. And I did Blackpool Ice Show for 6 years in comedy on ice, just doing all kinds of sketches. And in the winter, I was in Babies in the Wood, in a pantomime called Babies in the Wood. And I played Trousers the dog. And that ran with the summer seasons. And I played a harmonica at the Ritz in Manchester in between times. So that I kept these 3 things going for about 6 years. Then got to Wembley in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs on ice at Wembley for Walt Disney and Tom Arnold. And that show lasted at Wembley for about 12 weeks. And from then on, we did Snow White for about 5 years. Then we did Choo-Ching Chow, then we did Peter Pan. We toured all over South Africa twice with Snow White and then Choo-Ching Chow. And then I came back to England and did Snow White again at Wembley. And a little guy called Jack Purvis was in the show. And I said, what are you doing when the show finishes? Should we do a double act? And we did an act, and we were called the Minitones. Now, I don't know whether you remember the Minitones. I don't think you would. But your mothers and fathers probably would. Because we went to Pomptins, and to Butlins, and then to Haven and Warners, all over this country and the Isle of Wight. And that was a good season, good times. Then we got lucky with Star Wars. In 1976, we were based near Watford in London, North London, and working in all the clubs and the pubs and whatever, and TV. And then George Lucas came into town looking for somebody to get inside R2-D2. And I just happened to be there at the time, and I was working in the West End at hotels and in cabaret and doing summer shows and winter shows and all that. And he said, do you want to be in the snow in R2-D2? And I said, well, not really. Not in 1976, it was a very hot summer. And I said, no, I'd rather be doing the cabaret at night, you know, and going home every night. Anyway, they persuaded me to do it. So the show came out in 1977, and as we all know, it was a big success. So you don't abandon the ship if it's a big success. So I stayed with Star Wars, and then that took about 3 or 4 years to do, 3 shows, or 3 films I should say. Then there was a gap of about 15 years, and then he started to do the next 3 films. And I was in those as well, but very little, because they were mainly robotic stuff, you know, and CD stuff. But, you know, it's good going, so we had a good whack with Star Wars. And also did Time Bandits, the Amadeus, Mona Lisa, Elephant Man, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Wombles. I was Bungo the Womble. Remember Bungo? And all kinds of silly bits on TV, commercials. And it's amazing what kind of stuff I did. I was at Covent Garden Opera House, in the Rose and Cavalier, with Mary, what's her name, from New Zealand, a soprano singer. Her name will come to me in a minute. And so I've done opera at Covent Garden. I did a bit of Billy Smart Circus at Clapham Common in South London. It's TV, as I said. So I'm a bit of an all-rounder, you know, nothing... what they call it? Jack of all trades, but master of none. That's the word, isn't it? Bits of everything. And then now, getting a bit older now, as you can probably notice, and I'm slowing down quite a lot. Just do conventions. Mainly, I was usually in America, but I'm frightened to fly because the flying doesn't agree with my chest. So I don't fly anymore to America. It's too far. To fly to Spain or Europe, it's only 2 hours. But otherwise, I'd rather stay here and just drive around this country and possibly Europe. If I have to do, I can drive to Europe. And that's what I'm doing. Just doing what I'm doing today here, signing autographs and photographs and meeting people and just generally enjoying myself, you know. And just taking it easy, a bit easier than I used to be doing. So there you go. That's my life story in a few seconds or a few minutes. And I've had a good life. I've had about 50 years or so of solid show business, one way or the other. So I've been very lucky in a way.